When I was 13, I'd sit crippled with insecurity in my standard grade French class, unable to speak, but at the same time knowing that there was more to life than this. I'd gaze longingly out the classroom window at the Campsie Fells and fantasise I was out there, in the fresh air under my own steam, miles from petty peer expectations and social norms. I didn't want to be, couldn't be, the sort of girl who stood around gossiping about other people. I wanted the world out there, with all its associated unknown freedoms and excitement. I was bursting with untapped physical potential, but had no avenue, opportunity, or like-minded people to help me express it. And then I discovered bike riding. It became a secret I had. I could sit in standard grade French, or be at the receiving end of some snide comments from peers, and handle it all because I knew something they didn't. Because of a bike, I had access to a world they didn't even know to dream of. Back then, before smartphones and GPS, I'd follow a cycle route out of town until I felt the tickle of apprehension from having travelled into uncharted territory. I'd turn around and ride back again, but each time I did this, I'd go further. 5 miles became 15, then 30, then 40, all on a fully rigid steel mountain bike. As I grew braver, I began following these signs for miles until my legs grew heavy and the darkness would gather. I'd then hop on public transport to get home, my world that little bit bigger than it was when I left that morning. The more tired I finished a ride, the happier I felt. And knowing this is what encouraged me to engage others this way. I left school and worked as an outdoor instructor, then a school counsellor. I watched other young people torture themselves with the crippling weight of societal expectation. They expressed it with antisocial behaviour, and it was my job to help them. And so we rode together, and psychotherapy was born, a project that works one-to-one with young people at risk of social exclusion, because they find it hard to manage the very same feelings I battled with in standard grade French class. At 26, I entered my first mountain bike race and won. There followed 10 years of getting fitter and stronger until I was good enough to race full-time for my country. But although I liked the structure of the hard training, elite level racing was also so far removed from the freedom and exploration that tempted me into biking in the first place, that it might as well have been a different sport. In fact, as I discovered, the world of top-level sporting competition is not that different from the snidey corridors of secondary school. And so I stopped and poured my efforts into encouraging others, especially women, to challenge themselves on what they think they might be capable of. Emily Chappell and I founded the Adventure Syndicate in an effort to correct the lack of inspirational, genuine female sporting role models out there. I often think that if the Adventure Syndicate had existed when I was a young woman trying to find my way, then life would have been that bit easier. A ride these days has to have an element of adventure and exploration to it. I enjoy carrying everything I need to survive on the bike. Long distance back-to-back days travelling A to B now capture my imagination. And I find I'm still discovering places I didn't know existed, both geographically and within myself. Afterwards, I love to come home and feel better able to cope with the challenges of everyday life as a result of my bike adventures. Fortunately, these challenges are no longer insecure peers telling me to be more like them, or French teachers forcing me to knuckle down. But life isn't always easy just because I'm an adult now. When I'm stuck, feeling low or bored or lonely, it's as though the pedalling motion turns rusty cogs in my head. Riding my bike helps me explore so much more than the physical environment I move through. It breathes new life into me and resets any emotional imbalance, and I want that for everyone. So grab your bike, metaphorical or otherwise, and ride.